So another type of question about Hardy-Weinberg principle is that the question will ask you to determine if the population is in Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium or not. So in this kind of question, first you have to calculate the genotype frequencies in that population. And then from that genotype frequencies, you have to find the P and Qs. And then you have to calculate what the frequency would be in one generation, in that one generation. And then from your calculation, if the allele frequencies change from the original frequencies, and then the population is not in Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium lah, and then that means evolution has occurred within that population, and scientists have to discover what causes that. Now, if the observed and the expected genotype frequencies are also significantly different, and then the population is also not in Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium. Okay, so there are two kinds of you can say situations of problems that questions can ask you, whether the population is at Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium or not. First, we'll give you maybe all the information. So generation 1, this much, AA, homozygous dominant is this much, heterozygous is this much, homozygous recessive is this much, and then it gives you the information from the second generation, which would be AA is this much, heterozygous is this much, and homozygous recessive is this much. And all you have to do is to calculate the genotype frequencies in these both generation, and you have to compare does X equals to B or not. Ada berubah tak value dia, any value change or not. So if they change, then it's not in Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium, and then we can safely assume that something has occurred in that population. And then we have to predict what kind of evolution, provided that the question asks you that lah. Kalau soalan tanya what could have happened, then the question probably has given you some additional information for you to assume or predict the kind of evolution that occurred in that population. Alright, in reality, in research, when scientists they calculate these frequencies and they change and they assume evolution has occurred, they have to go into that population and they have to do some tests and study to actually find out the kind of evolution that has occurred in that population. Okay, and then another case would be the observed and the expected genotype frequency. Now, this is where the question will not give you this value at all. Okay, so you have to use the p squared plus 2pq plus q squared equals to 1 equation. The question may start with a simple information like the number of this homozygous dominant in this population is this much. Determine whether this population is at Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium. So you have to start first, you have to find P and Q still, and then from that P and Q you have to use this P squared and Q squared and this 2pq and see, compare. Sebab yang ni yang kita panggil sebagai expected frequencies. The observed one is the one that you calculate from the question, the information given by the questions. Okay, this is very unclear, I'm sure, but we will look into some of the questions